What's going on, everybody? Mike McFarland here, the Lake Fork Guide. I'm about to give you a public rundown for Lake Fork, the bass capital of Northeast Texas, April 26th, 2022. As always, let's go to the board. Water temperatures right now are ranging between 67 and 70 degrees in the main lake. There are backwater temperatures up in the upper 70s, 76, 78 degrees. The clarity, with a heavy rain that we had the other night, the clarity is 0 to 1. Realistically, even the main lake got a lot of rain, a lot of water, and we've had a lot of high winds lately. So the water is churned up a little bit, and to say much better than 1 foot visibility, with the exception of down south, it's pretty hard to find anything cleaner than that. Water level, we've come up over 1.5 inches since last Thursday, Friday. Last Thursday, Friday was 39698. As of Monday, 39712. As of today, 39714. Lake's in great shape, on the rise. Rising water points them out. It brings them in. I'm sorry, rising water rises the fish. It pulls them in. Falling water points them out. Okay, the fishing's excellent. So I'm going to talk to you about a couple things. The weather outlook this next week. Tomorrow, it looks like east winds, but Wednesday or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it looks like high winds again. We're getting winds from the south, and we love wind. We need the wind, but by God, we don't need this much wind. It's been heavy, heavy, heavy winds. Too much heavy winds. And realistically, if you can handle it, you still catch a lot of fish. For example, Sunday, Brooke and I had a 33-pound sack. Brooke had 2 9-pounders. I had a 7 to go with it. We had a bunch of other 2s and 3s and a couple of 4-pounders. And you take those best 5. It was almost basically 33 pounds for our best 5. And it was pretty windy. It wasn't bad, but I understand, Saturday was 40-mile-an-hour gusts and just rocked the lake. Sunday nights when we had all that heavy rain, lightning, thunder, it bombed the lake and we lost clarity. But overall, the weather outlook looks pretty good. We did have a cold front come through last night, 47 degrees this morning. Had to give Brooke my jacket to keep her warm. And we really had a cool client today. Ed come out with us today. He's by himself. He loves to have Brooke come along. And they really fish together, and I guide them both under these circumstances. But it's been really, really neat. She's a big blessing to my life. She's my best friend, and she's my business partner. Okay, she is part of McFarland Fishing. I'm the Lake Fork Fishing Guide, and I work under what I call McFarland Fishing as an entity. I did that for a reason 6 years ago. That reason is I plan on doing YouTube videos. I plan on doing more videos. And I also hoped and had an outlook and a dream of being on television. I always have. And so right now, that's what's coming to pass. So we will be filming a lot more on the lake. We have GoPros, we have camera crews coming out, we have production crews coming out. I am currently doing the Texas Insider Fishing Report, which is live on television. And there's some really, really big opportunities coming for both Brooke and I to be together on national television. It's very unique. So I'm super excited to tell you about that. But let's tell you about some fishing. If you are the public and you're coming here, there are fish on beds. There's a lot of fish on beds. You can't see them. It's pretty difficult with a low lake, 6 foot. They're on the wood. They're on the tree stumps. They're in the backwaters. They're in the inside legs. They're not all the way back. There's not a lot when you go all the way back. It's almost too shallow. But if you get inside some of the coves, about halfway back, and really take your time in the wood, wacky worms, Texas rig creature baits, Cincos, weightless Cincos, and go real slow, you can catch a lot of good fish. What I want to do is actually, I'm going to tell you about some underfishing. As a fishing guide, I fish for the slot fish, which is the 16 to 24 inch fish, and the bigger fish, the overs, the giants, the double digits. That's what my clients want. If you're wanting that information, you really need to be a members only. You need to subscribe members only, where I give all the details. I give the rule of 3, which is the locations that I'm catching those big fish. For example, like I said, Brooke had 2 9-pounders on Sunday, back to back within 30 minutes apart. You want to know that location, those baits, you need to be in the members only. But I thought, Brooke put a little mouse in my ear and she said, man, give the public a little more. I said, well, I'm trying. How do we make them happy with, besides giving them the lake levels and weather conditions and tournament anglers? The unders don't mean a whole lot to me as a guide, as I said. So I'm going to tell you how to catch the unders. Right now there's a shad spawn going on. And if you'll go find the white egrets just about anywhere in the lake, if the white egrets are successfully catching the small shad, then here's a few baits that you can do and you can catch those fish. So first of all, I'm going to tell you about one of my rods. This is a FS 7'8", 1225. It's a real powerful rod, but it's perfect. I can put 20-pound test on it. If I do hook into a giant over, I'm going to land it, but it's not too big for small baits. And so what I got here is just a little owner underspin, the Reaction Innovations Little Beaver. 3/8 ounce underspin, gold blade on cloudy days, silver on non. Perfect little search bait. But man, if you throw this in the right places on the blue herons and the white egrets during the shad spawn, you're going to catch a lot of fish. You're going to catch some small slots. You may catch a big giant because they're there too. But you're going to absolutely catch those unders. So one of the best baits right now to catch unders is going to be a little underspin and or like a little small spinner bait, a white spinner bait with small willow leaf blades. Another really cool bait, by the way, this is one of my signature rods too, made by Real Time Rods, FS 7'8", 1225. Okay. So another really cool thing is, so I got the underspin here that I showed you, is just downsize. So in the members only, we're telling you about the, not necessarily larger baits, but the right locations and the different baits that are catching those bigger fish. If you were looking for tournament angling fish, downsize to a 1.5 square bill in those same areas. And you're going to catch more fish. You're going to catch those smaller fish. Okay, little 1.5 sexy shad right here, Strike King sexy shad. Top water. Get yourself a little popper, not the full size popper. Watch the birds and you'll see the size of the shad. If you're on thumbnail shad, you're in the right spot. Do a tiny little yellow magic popper, the small popper, or a small rebel, or a small Rico popper. Shad colors are best. Bone white, anything just with a little bit of feather on it. Fished in the right areas, you can catch a limit of small unders. And those are perfect on Lake Fork for tournament angling. Another really cool bait, trying to give you guys something really valuable in the public here. This is a whopper plopper, not a full-size plopper, but this is made by River to Sea. This is the smaller whopper plopper. And if you look closely, you can see this has been all the color chewed off of it. It's almost perfectly clear with a little bit of flash here and there left. That's one of my favorite baits when I want those smaller unders. And believe me, every now and then I'll catch a bigger slot fish on it, which again doesn't do you any good in most tournaments on Lake Fork due to the 16 to 24 inch slot limit. But the little whopper plopper will get your arm hurt catching, wearing those 16 inch, 15, 16 inch fish, because you catch a lot of them on it, especially in the right place where they're schooled up, taking advantage of the shad spawn. Okay. And then one last little bait before we have a conversation publicly. Drop shot. And it's really hard to beat. Get yourself drop shot just about anywhere, bridge, corners, bridge, pylons, anywhere from 8 to 12 feet of water on the points in the wood, using the Zoom Finesse Worm. Watermelon candy chartreuse tail is my favorite color. You could also probably do a little sea rig with this, but the tomato color also will catch a lot of fish right now. Okay, so there's some baits that I wanted to throw at you publicly and let you know that you can, tournament anglers, you can really catch a lot of fish by doing that. Again, not to be redundant, if you want to know more details, if you want to understand exactly the locations and the baits that Brooke and I have thrown last week, me as a guide, her as my partner, just fishing, the big fish, the 9-pound fish that she caught, you need to subscribe to the members only. It's $4.99. Look, from your desktop, from your laptop, just hit the join button, follow the procedures. It's really simple. You spend more than $4.99 on most of these lures, and you're willing to lose them to the wood and trees of Lake Fork. I'm pretty sure that there is absolute 100% value in my members only channel that's giving up the goods on how to catch the big fish on Lake Fork. All right. I caught wind of something, and since you guys are the public, I need to share something with you. And I want you to know how to address this situation. There's a lot of nonsense going around on Lake Fork right now. And I've heard that, of course, the nonsense is pressured not just on myself and Brooke, as we talked a little bit in the last show. There's a lot of nonsense pressured on you guys, the public. This is a public lake. It does not belong to anybody but you. It does not belong to fishing guides. And just because a fishing guide's there, he has no right whatsoever to approach you and tell you that you're in his way, that you're on his water, that you shouldn't be here. In fact, it's the opposite. That fishing guide has made the choice to be a fishing guide. It's his choice. He's not stuck there. He's made the choice. Therefore, it's his sacrifice. And you guys are first. The guides are not first. They're last. You ask any marina owner here on this lake, they don't care about the fishing guides first. They care about you, the public, first. So if you're on the lake and you are harassed by any of these unprofessional guides, you need to find out who they are, take down their boat tag number, and make a claim or report to the Texas Game and Fish Department. Call the sheriff if you're really being harassed, because they can go to jail for this. All right. So I am tired of the games from some people on this lake, and we're going to stand up for what's right. Again, if you watched the last one, I did mention a little bit of nonsense that's being approached on Brooke and I, and it's going to stop. It's going to stop. It's going to stop right here, and it's going to stop by approaching this correctly. And if we have to go to the law to do so, that's what's next. So just really apologize to any of you publicly that have had that happen to you on the lake. It is not owned by any fishing guide whatsoever, nor any local who lives here, nor anyone who's fished here for a long time. We filmed on Sunday with one of the most class act guides on the lake, Mr. Brian Dupleshin. And we discussed this a little bit at lunch, and Brian chuckled. He said, well, you know, I've been fishing here for 38 years. And guys like Mark Pack, and I can name many others, Randy Oldfield and Danny Holder, and all these guys that were the pioneers of this lake. If anyone owns the lake, then you all are on our stuff. Because you guys, all of you, showed up after the fact. And none of those guys ever pursued that. I don't know where it came from around Lake Fork, but this, I own the lake, and these are our spots, my spots. It's nonsense. And that's where we're going to leave it. Okay? I need you. They need you more than they realize. Without you, the public, there is no guide service. There is no Lake Fork. And we appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being here. Brooke Maurer appreciates you being here. Bass Lady Brooke is kicking butt out there on the lake. She's catching more fish than anybody. She's catching the big fish, and it's pretty cool. You're going to see a lot more of us as we begin to film more in the future, and we're going to be on national television coming very soon. But other than that, listen, if you're coming to Lake Fork, keep safe. Get you the Lake Fork Super Trails so that you can run around the lake. This is used by MLF anglers and BASS anglers, endorsed and used by them. This is the real deal. Over 7,000 trail points versus about 1,700, 1,800 on the others. This is 4 times the amount of information as any other trip on the lake. Keep you safe, get you into the backwaters without bumping stumps. Remember this, just because there's trails doesn't mean you can run them all at Low Lake. The trails, a lot of the trails are to be idled, at least now at Low Lake. They keep you from bumping. So don't just run everything. So read the directions on here. Make sure you follow this. And if you're running these trails, you better know how to run them, because you have to be on some of these trails. It's no different than walking down the hallway in your house. You can bump your shoulder on your doorway if you don't go through it right. So if you don't know how to do it, idle it. If you know how to be on the lane, a lot of this can be run. And it's, like I said, more material than ever before for Lake Fork. All right? So with all that being said, man, really grateful to have you guys here. The subscriptions for public keep rising. The subscriptions for members only channel are 4, maybe 5 times more than I expected. And I'm grateful. I have people from other states who don't even fish Lake Fork that are using the members only rule of 3 theory on their lakes. Oklahoma, Arkansas, surrounding states here, Louisiana, and they're catching fish at home there. They've made some testimonies. You can see Lake Fork Adventures Guide Service. Follow me there. The Lake Fork Guide on Instagram. Go check that stuff out. Watch the daily reports coming out of Brooke and myself. Life is good. God is even better. And Lake Fork is the GOAT Lake. I'm Mike McFarland. Hopefully that gave you guys a little more in this public rundown than normal. And I'm going to keep doing that. Take care and God bless.